By the time your child is 12 years old, you've already spent 75% of the time in your life.
Go watch that so you can understand the comments I'm going to make here. But look, the world has changed, and this idea that somehow communal living is going to save everything is is kind of a bad take on things. So with the way things are currently working, you either have to decide that you're going to have your kids living with you until they die, because you're going to be having your kids help with your bills and pay for stuff, right? So if you plan on keeping your kids in your house all the time and never having any privacy to you and your spouse, then, this guy's right. You should just keep your kids home. But the take that, your kids are just going to leave and they're never going to look at you again. We have social media. This is ridiculous. 100 years ago, it may have made sense for the kids to stay home if you had a farm. But as I've said many times before, we don't have farms anymore. Your kids sticking around you doesn't really provide a great benefit anymore, right? Because what we see is when your kids are stuck around you all the time, they can only take your ideas. They don't have a chance to grow. This criticism that the kids are just going to travel and leave you and, oh, dad's dead, is kind of ridiculous. The whole point, and this comes from a funny place because I'm sure he's talking about boomer generation, right? Because those kids went and backpacked in Europe. They got to go experience life, but no, keep your kids here. Don't let them see anything. Don't let them experience anything. Look, the dynamic of child and parent is different now. It's vastly different. Your kids have to figure out how to survive differently because the world is different. It's vastly different. You should encourage your kids to get out and go experience things. You should encourage your kids to go out and see the world because they may see a different view. What this reads to me as is propaganda scaring you into keeping your kids close so they can't see how bad of a deal America is. Because that sounds like a very American thing, right? Keep your kids close, keep them near you so they don't go off and disappear. And that doesn't make any sense. Encourage your kids to travel. If they're able to go travel and go someplace else, that may be the best thing for them. If your children decide to leave the country and go live someplace else, that's probably the best thing they can do for themselves, considering that this country is not very supportive of new adults trying to survive. It is hard enough for me to survive. The child I have is going to have a hard time trying to survive on their own because rents are not affordable anymore. Jobs are not paying enough. College is a joke. What are they supposed to do? So my best encouragement is try to keep your grades up so you can maybe get a scholarship program or something that gets you out of the country into a college overseas. I would rather have my child go to Germany and start a life there, or another country and start a life there where it's better, because it is better by far. If you look into how education is different and how immigrating when you're young is different, it is much easier to leave the United States as a very young adult, or when you hit 18, than it is when you're in your late 40s or late 30s like I am, or in your late 40s. So I'm in my late 30s. But for me to leave, the cost is too expensive. To uproot and relocate is too difficult. There is so much of that. The only way I relocate at this point is if the country fell to such shambles that I literally had nothing left. So, but yeah, this is just a terrible take on the part of that. And again, this is another one of those shows I don't watch because each time I've tried to look into it and tried to hopefully find something good, it just reads as just American propaganda, just horrible, horrible stuff.